Good morning. Hopefully I can get this voice to cooperate for a couple minutes. It is exciting this morning to have Mr. Jack Hopkins and Paula with us. Jack is a member of the Geneva United Methodist Church. So Jack, welcome to the extended family of believers here at New Leaf.
Amen.
Jack was an art and theology major at Santa Fe College in Florida and completed horticultural studies at Ohio State University. He then worked for 30 years as a horticulturist and plant propagator. He is very involved in his community. He has worked on several Habitat for Humanity homes locally. He's worked at a halfway house for the homeless and counseled alcohol and drug-dependent individuals. He is involved internationally as well with global mission projects, primarily in Africa, focusing on digging and drilling water wells, teaching and providing seed and agriculture education for many of the African schools and rural communities. He has worked at 2 orphanages in Zimbabwe, started poultry programs in Liberia and Zimbabwe, and he helped with the collection and distribution of medical supplies to deal with the Ebola virus in Zaire, which incidentally is still a problem today, even if we're not hearing much about it. Jack has always considered himself fortunate to quite humbly serve his God and those less fortunate. He has been responsible for the installation of 77 water wells in Africa. He has founded the Jack Hopkins Mission Project, and he enjoys his part to help keep our planet green with safe drinking water and healthy, happy, productive children. This wishing well that we have here was made by Jared Blood. Thank you, Jared. And it will be used all week at Vacation Bible School. The children elected, because of our program being water-related, to support Jack in developing a new water well. And the gifts that the children will bring each day will be saved and given to Jack so that New Leaf, Conneaut, Ohio, can be part of Jack's mission to bring clean drinking water to some of the poorest areas of the world. So my friend Jack, please come and share your story.
I want to thank Shirley and Jim up top there for being such an awesome IT guy. I originally, about 10 years ago or so, I had some trauma in my life and things weren't going so good. As Shirley mentioned, I'm a member of Geneva United Methodist. And one Sunday we had a couple of missionaries from Mentor United Methodist come visit us and do program. And I listened to that 15 or 20 minute talk and was just absolutely sold, and basically told Pastor Ducreti, where do I sign up? And 2 months later I was in Liberia. And it's changed my life in so many ways, and I've had the opportunity to meet some of the most overwhelming, joyful, God-filled people I've ever had the pleasure to meet. Zimbabwe, as you can see, is about the size of Montana. It's not particularly a large country. It's in far south, southern Africa. It neighbors South Africa, Botswana, and Mozambique. Language is a big problem everywhere. Probably more tribal wars and so-called civilized societies have had wars because of misunderstanding one another. And for instance, Liberia has 19 indigenous languages, and it ultimately ended up being a 16-year civil war because they couldn't connect. The Precious Life Foundation Farm is something that was started by a couple of Rotarian friends of mine that I met at a Rotary meeting, and they were kind of struggling in this mission to have a safe place for young women that have been attacked and have infants and no place to go. They're ostracized from their tribe because this awful thing happened to them, and so they're out on the streets, and we bring them in and we teach them agriculture and animal husbandry, sewing, basic things that the young women ages 12 to 18 should know that were really never had anybody to teach them. We have 3 houses, chicken houses, that have 20,000 chicks in them each, and we found actually 2 major grocery store chains in Zimbabwe that buy both our eggs and our meat birds. Here I'm cutting some steel. We were going to get a cold night that night and had to kind of quick make some curtains to keep the heat in there so that they didn't perish overnight. That fellow on the right, some of you folks probably know, that's Reverend Bruce Hitchcock. He's my pastor and my friend and my roomie usually when we're on the road. This little girl's 14, and the girls all refer to me as Uncle Jack, which is really kind of, it's a real honor to be called uncle, and I admire him for doing that. Some more girls. This fellow is he has heavy earth-moving equipment, and we were going to we're enlarging the farm another 40 acres. We have 100 right now. The soil there is atrocious. It's all sand and gravel and windswept, arid soil. All the topsoil's been blown away into the desert thousands of years ago, so we have to. It's a challenge to just enrich that soil. One of the things we do is raise, as I'd mentioned, chickens and beef cows and dairy cows, and all that manure goes back into the soil for both our herbs and vegetables and so forth. There's a church in Ashtabula that the ladies there took their husbands' Levi's, who I guess they couldn't wear anymore, outgrew them, and they made these clever little tool pockets that the girls at the farm can wear to put their tools and seed and so forth in them. That's my friend David. He passed away tragically about 6 months ago, and I miss him a lot. This again is at the Precious Life Foundation. This is my friend Agnes. We're installing a manhole there. To put in a water well there, we had to use a borehole similar to what we use here actually, but we have to go a tad deeper. In this case, about 300 feet, 100 meters deep. And we were very fortunate to find a really rich vein of water. Oberlin Rotary, some of you may know of Oberlin University down south and west of us. They financed this particular well. This was at a small town. Well, it wasn't a town at the time, it is now. The town is called Mahatchala again, and it was really just a desert, about 80 acres or so. And as soon as they heard, some of the locals and the homeless found that there was water at Mahatchala, they started building. And that barren land that you see there is, there are quite a few houses there now, probably 30 or 40 houses. We give them enough land to build a little family garden, and so that was a real blessing for that area. This is in Liberia. This is a hand-dug well. The majority of the wells that I've done, Liberia is in the rainforest, and water is very easy to come by, good potable drinking water. We only have to dig really about 28 to 42 feet. We can get one man, it's a 48-inch perfect cylinders. These guys can dig a perfect tube down into the ground, and we just use, because we can't get 50-ton water drilling apparatus into these areas, it would just be impossible to do that. So we have to go with the hand-dug wells. They're much cheaper too. A hand-dug well like this, when we put this one in, was about $1,500. Now, after the Ebola crisis struck there 3 years ago, I happened to be there at the time when the Ebola when Ebola struck, and we got out of there about a week before people started to fall. That's a borehole drilling apparatus. That one's new and better than most. There aren't a whole lot of really good mechanics that can work on a device like that. Again, we're going back to Liberia. The village people in this particular village had a big celebration and dedication to the well that we put in their village. It was really moving. This is what most of the wells look like. That's a 5,000-liter plastic tank that you see there. And again, at that place, that's at the Nsizimi Middle School, which is a Methodist middle school that we've been working at. I've been going there for about 10 years, and we've been doing, in fact, we're going to take our new bishop there in about 2 months or so, and let her see what's going on there. She's never been to Zimbabwe, so we're excited to get her on a plane with us. Everything starts with water. The ramifications of drinking filthy drinking water, these creeks and so forth, are numerous and they are deadly. And I really accidentally got involved with putting wells in. I went there as an agriculturalist and brought a bunch of seed with me and started a couple agriculture departments, both at the school and at surrounding villages. And my friend Dr. Danny DeCreedy, who is an emergency room surgeon at the Cleveland Clinic, was inundated with malaria. Kids were dying and so forth. And he said, "Jack, you got to take over this water well business." He said, "I just can't keep up with it." I said, "Danny, I don't really know what that is." He said, "Last year I didn't either. You'll learn. It'll be fine." And I absolutely fell in love with the whole thing. I got together a couple of teams and worked with the bishop there in Liberia, Dr. John Innes, and we allowed him to pick out the locations, the villages that he wanted, that were most desperate for water, and I put together some labor teams. The unemployment rate there is about 95%. So the guys that were actually doing the hand digging of the wells were very, very excited to get work of any sort. It takes about 3 days from the time we put a shovel in the ground until we're actually pumping water per well. It's a little scary because, like I said, if you're down 40 feet, and if there was too much water, too much rain or whatever, or just a slight earth tremor could dislodge that sand and gravel and definitely bury a man. And there's no possible way to get him out of there. Only one can go down at a time, and we pray mightily for their safety. We've been very fortunate and blessed. We haven't lost anybody. That's what 20,000 chicks look like. You can see there's a couple propane tanks. That was that same cold night. I don't think we lost just a couple dozen or something, which is not too bad. This was the first chicken coop I helped build there. That fellow's my friend, Pastor Washington Zimbabwe. He oversees about 55 churches, I believe. You can't really see that, but they got a piece of teak wood. I don't know if probably some of the folks might know what teak is. It's very rare and expensive on this side of the Atlantic to get a hold of. But they made this tribute sign for me. It's really kind of silly. It says Jack's Chicken Run. Ha ha. This was a dedication that a couple of the pastors did for us, giving notice to the people that contributed at the Precious Life Foundation, along with the 6 Rotary clubs in Ashtabula County. There were numerous Methodist churches, and I probably have about 150 or so private donors that have helped me along the way to pay for these to pay for these adventures. That's a really good sight right there when you first crank that water, and you got to bleed it a little bit because there's sand in it and so forth. But you can see we got good pressure there, and it's such a blessing. The cattle were dying. There was no we couldn't really trust the water source there, which was basically just a pond full of algae and manure, and wasn't good. Seed distribution. I've found about 5 different non-MGO organic seeds that donate to the cause, and I take them in suitcases and distribute them at small villages and schools, churches, and so forth. So that's been a big part of my ministry. I love doing that. Have to educate yourself a little bit because of the climate difference, the soil. It's all different. So you have to educate yourself a bit before you start bringing seed around. And some of the tastes are different too. A lot of things that we think are. I was in a couple of villages in Liberia. They'd never seen a tomato before. I brought tomato seeds, and we built a little greenhouse. And a few months later, this was a longer stay that I had. They were actually eating big, ripe, juicy red tomatoes and flipped. That was pretty cool. Pastor Bruce and I separating seed packets to be distributed here and there. The little fella there on the right-hand side is at the King George VI rehabilitation school that has been there since 1930, I believe. They take in deaf, blind, a lot of polio was there. We've got it under control. When I say we, I mean the doctors, and I had nothing to do with that. But that guy in his wheelchair goes through his every single row several times a day in a wheelchair with a hoe, picks weeds, sows seed, waters, in a wheelchair. Really, really an amazing young man. That's my little buddy Danny. He has MS, and he is my host's youngest son. This is King George VI school again. They sang us some songs and gave us tours, and we had lunch with them and set up a little help for them. I call myself an artist, although I'm not really. These kids were very good, and I really like to take pictures and of the sculptures and paintings and so forth. The Emsazini Middle School I had mentioned, that is a building that our church, Pastor Bruce and some other donors have been. We built this about 10 years ago, and it's grown to the point that we needed another building. So we're raising, I think, $75,000 to build another wing onto the church, or I'm sorry, onto the school. That's one of the orchards that we put in at the Emsazini school. There's so much depression and just extremely poor folks, that these kids were walking to the Msizimi school on an empty belly, sitting all day, and then walking back, no lunches. And you cannot expect a kid to concentrate on his studies on an empty belly. It's just not going to happen. So the headmaster gave me about an acre and a half or so. We fenced it off to keep the antelope and other critters out of there, and planted about 140 or so fruit trees, guava, mango, avocado, orange, pineapple, coconut, all of it. And it's been, these kids have been at least having some rice and fruit for their breakfast. They get there a half hour early and they get a breakfast. So at least that's one meal a day we know they're going to get. That's the local nursery that I get my fruit trees from. All the kids help after school. They help me clear land to put in these orchards and vegetable gardens and so forth. They all work. That's a papaya, I believe. No, guava. There's my aforementioned Pastor Bruce Hitchcock doing, he's at the Bethel United Methodist in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. He didn't speak their tongue, so it was kind of awkward. Pastor Washington had to translate everything. It makes for a very long sermon. Again, that's Bethel. Bruce brought in about 200 or 300 scarves, pretty scarves that the ladies of our church had gotten from their closet or went to the store and bought. Something like a pretty scarf is way not in their budget, so they were absolutely delighted. This is the one side that I take a kind of a personal, I don't know if it's selfish or not, but the art and beauty of Africa needs to be seen with your own eyes to really appreciate it. This is an old lava flow. Nobody knows exactly how old that is, but up on top of that hill, you'll see these boulders. They're probably 15 or 20 feet tall, and I have no idea how many tons they weigh, but they've been sitting there for all recorded time. Nobody seems to know exactly how they got there, that I talked to anyway. My friend David, that I pointed out earlier that we lost about 6 months ago, this piece of granite was in his backyard, and we discovered these cave paintings. You can see that's my finger there, and that's that ring right there, just to give you an idea how small and intricate and old. Somebody from the university came over and said it was probably 3,000 years old. You can't see that very much. That's a succulent garden. The little spider monkey, they're annoying. They'll eat your lunch. On the right there is Victoria Falls, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's absolutely fabulous. When you get out of the bus, about a mile or two before you actually get to the falls, you can feel the hydraulic pounding of all this water. It's, I don't know, 600 feet deep, I guess. As beautiful as Niagara Falls is, you could really put it in the hip pocket of Victoria Falls. That's my friend Agnes and her friends, her daughters, her 4 daughters. On the right there is Zambia. One of the neighbors, Zambia, they don't get along with the Zimbabweans at all. That's the Zambezi River. To the left is Zimbabwe. Just so beautiful. In the back there is a baobab tree. That's a young one. The baobab tree can grow to be, there's one in Kenya that has been carbon dated at 6,000 years old. It's the oldest living thing on the planet. Google it. It's 132 feet in circumference. It's just majestic. This thing here is probably 1,500 years old. It's a little baby. Some wild boar. They're not very friendly. You don't want to get out of the bus or the truck. Giraffes. I really never had a real appreciation of exactly how tall giraffes are in a zoo. You can't really appreciate it until you're up close to them, within 15 or 20 feet. They're enormous. That was a big thunderstorm. This was a big day because it hadn't rained in weeks and weeks, and it was picture worthy that thunderstorm headed our way that day. That's a hippo on the right. The most dangerous animal in all of Africa. Most people think it would be a lion or a panther or crocodiles or whatever. More people die from hippos than any of those others. Speaking of lions, on the left there you'll see some fresh lion tracks. I got out of the bus to get a picture of those, and my guide yelled at me for being stupid, so I got the picture anyway. Crocodiles on the left. You don't want to mess with them either. Zebras, fantastic. They are so fast. This is a small collection of African tribal masks that I've collected over the years. That's my rock band. No, it's not. Those guys were actually at a fashion show of all things. I asked my host daughter to take me to some place in Zimbabwe that tourists don't see, and she takes me to a fashion show. I'm a farmer. I'm no fashion guy, but they were nice guys anyway. These are all these sculptures are all made of throwaway stuff that they found in the dump alongside of the road, palm fronds, bone, whatever they can find. This is just welded throwaway steel, a rhino, of course. These are all auto parts that were found in a junkyard. If you look there, you mechanics will recognize some of those pieces. These are some of our goals that we're working toward, and we seem to be growing pretty well, and there's a lot of interest stateside on helping these people. Okay, any questions? Thank you very much.